Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Ernest Sears, Jr., author of Detox Your Circle, coming to you once again on Saturday at 2 p.m. I am on location in Scottsdale on Hayden, and I am next to a well-known waterway that is adjacent to Hayden Road. And I'm hoping that the windiness is not going to distort the volume too much, but it is pretty windy today, and as you can see, rather overcast, which is atypical for us here in Arizona, but we do appreciate the variety in weather when we do get it. I have decided that moving forward that I would start off each of my videos with sort of a numerological description of the day. I want to integrate a little bit more numerology in the things that I share, and to that end I'll be sharing that today is a 2 day, and if you add all of the numbers together, February 13th, 2021, it actually is going to be a 2, so that's 3 and 5, 8, 2 is 10, 1 and 2 is, it's 2, it's a 2 day, and 2 is a number that has to do with duality. It has to do with polarity. It has to do with two sides, back and forth, and the need for synthesis, the need for integration. 2 is a number that it's the first splitting of the atom, or the first splitting of the cell into 2. And so you have the mirror, you have the duality where you can see yourself, or where you can argue 2 different points and go through the struggle until, there's this dialectic that allows you eventually to integrate. And that integration takes place in the next number. But 2 is a number of growth, elemental growth. 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? 2 is also a number that has to do with advocacy, and joy, and synthesis, and devotion. So 2 is a good number, and it's a nice way to kind of reframe your day and look at it differently with an understanding of the numerology behind it. Today I'm going to talk about nature versus technology, and how basically we are moving away from an age or a preoccupation with technology, or at the very least we are realizing the negative aspects of technology and how it has lured us from nature. And we know that technology is in itself a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's great to be able to be on live here, to be able to have a smartphone with so many different features, to be able to do so many things that we enjoy and take for granted today because of technology. There's lots of medical breakthroughs in technology, when it comes to vaccinations, when it comes to all sorts of things that allow us to be able to live in modern society and enjoy it. But a lot of that, like so many things when it comes to yin and yang, there is always something slightly negative or something really negative inside a beautiful thing, and there's always something beautiful inside a negative thing. And so technology is no different in that it in itself is great, but if we focus on it so much that we sacrifice our connection to nature, then we are losing out on much more than we're gaining by implementing and enjoying technology. Nature is the underpinning of our very essence. We are nature. We are everything we see out in nature. You see the trees, you see the birds, you see the animals, you see so many different living things that benefit from the sun no more than we do. And oftentimes we forget that we fit right in to everything that we see in nature because we are a part of it. And there is coming a time now that we are going to have to be reminded and focus a little bit more on our connection to nature. I think that my volume, I've lost my volume because my earpieces have gone out. Can someone verify that you can hear me speaking? Because if you cannot hear me speaking, I'm gonna have to change up and remove the earpieces and just rely on the volume on the phone. So if you can give me a thumbs up or type in yes I can hear you, that would really help me right now to determine what I need to do next. But I will keep talking. Basically, there is a gradual return back to nature and the importance of nature, understanding the importance of tilling the soil, the importance of gardening, the importance of planting seeds and watching them grow, and actually remembering the lessons of planting a seed metaphorically and actually. The planting seed and watching it grow and understanding the gestation process, all of these things that nature teaches us are things and concepts that we have fallen away from because of so much of a reliance on technology and not enough of insight and understanding and wisdom to realize that we must integrate nature, integrate that in everything that we do, simply because that is part of who we are. Can someone please let me know? Okay, thanks Matt. I think I saw your thumbs up. Thank you. Someone can hear me. Awesome. So it's going to be very important moving forward as we move into this new age, as we move into this new cycle, for us to be able to see the bigger picture and understand not only how important nature is, but the fact that we are nature, that we cannot turn away from ourselves and expect to experience the fullness of life and the fullness of our purpose and the fullness of the meaning of why we're here if we turn our backs on nature. In other words, turning our backs on ourselves. Coming back to nature is definitely going to allow us to move to whatever next level you are needing to go to in your life to be fulfilled. And on the collective, on the level of the human collective, we are all moving to another next level that requires us to reintegrate nature into our lifestyle, reintegrate nature into the way that we think and the way that we solve problems, using nature as a template and a metaphor for really how life is put together and how it is set up, and our role in it is going to really allow us to have more unity. It's going to allow us to be better when it comes to taking care of the planet and each other. So nature is something that is going to be coming back. So obviously it never left, right? And there's some of you out there, like myself, who have always been aware of the importance and the primacy of nature, but we're going to find that we're going to turn more and more towards nature as we move forward in understanding what it has to offer us. When we do this, we're going to be much more balanced, and we're going to realize that, for example, there are things in nature that when we look at, we do not right away understand that we are looking at a reflection of ourselves. Let me give you an example that was revealed to me probably about 2 years ago. When I look at a tree, I see something that I know obviously is extremely important and crucial for life on earth, for humans, for the simple fact that we are engaged in a symbiotic relationship with trees, right? So the Amazon forest provides so much oxygen that allows us to exist. And also we in turn take in that oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide, and the trees benefit from that. So there is like a give and take between humans, animals, and trees. And so it's very important for us to realize something as simple as a tree is not only integral to our lives, but reflects an aspect of us and reflects something at the very structure of our nature. When you look at a tree, you see the tree trunk and you see the leaves branching out. And when you look at it, you don't really feel that you're looking in a mirror, but in a way that you actually are. There's an inverse relationship that's going on with us and trees. You have to also imagine the roots. So you have the trunk that goes up and you have the branches, and the trunk goes down, and then there are roots. And the roots very much branch out, very similar to the way the branches in the trees that we see that are visible to us branch out. And so the tree is kind of this hourglass shape, where at the top you have this outgoing type of top of a torus, and then when it comes together, that's the trunk, and it goes down into the ground, and then the roots also branch out again. And that is that hourglass shape that you see in so much of nature. Let me give you an example of that again. When you see a tornado or a hurricane, the formation, the structure of a tornado is very much like an hourglass. It has the funnel, and it gets, it pinches, and then it goes back out. So if you could see actually the energy at the bottom of a tornado, you would see there's energy also that branches out in a similar way to a tree in an hourglass. As far as the torus and the toroid pattern, in hurricanes and galaxies, when you flush the toilet and the water goes down the toilet, it goes in a fashion where there is this torus, this toroid, okay? In a very similar way, we have that same shape energetically. We also are toroidal. We also are like a torus. So at the top of us, we have this funnel this funnel that comes down and it pinches probably around the fourth chakra, and then it goes out at the bottom into the earth. And so we have this thing going on where all of us basically are exemplifying a torus, this hourglass shape. We all have that kind of energy that's happening. And so there's a sphere around us, and inside of it is this toroid. Okay? And we all have that. It's like being a tree energetically. We're all trees. Okay? So my point is that when we disconnect ourselves from nature, we disconnect ourselves from the very understanding and wisdom of who we are and what makes us up, and how we tick, and how we are supposed to exist in the world, and our connection to the world. And so much more wisdom than we have been leveraging recently. We're going to begin to leverage that again. A lot of the wisdom of the past from thousands of years ago, that stuff is going to come back to us, and we're going to be able to apply that so that we can be in unity, so that we can understand that we're all one, so that we can understand that nature is just a reflection of us, that even space, or what we think is space, all the planets and the sun and the stars, we feel that that's something that's external. Now, it seems external just because of the holographic nature of living on this plane, but all of that actually exists inside of us. And I know for some of you this is a little far out, but hey, this is what I'm sharing today. And so hopefully this is going to give you some insight into your own life, and expand your thinking and your ways of interacting and existing and solving problems. But this self-awareness the awareness that everything we see is actually inside us, the awareness that all of the planets, when it comes to astrology and astronomy and cosmology, all of that is actually inside of us, is going to allow us to make a quantum leap when it comes to humanity, when it comes to civilization, when it comes to spirituality. And there is going to be a level of spirituality and oneness that we're all going to be on at some point, because of our turning back to nature and understanding that we are nature. Now, some of us understand quantum physics, and we are aware of some of the revelations and some of the concepts of quantum physics. And one of the most important ones is that everything is a wave, and the way that waves become particles is when they are measured. So when you actually focus on something and you actually look at it, you're measuring it. And when you look at it and you focus on it, you are moving it from waveform to particle form, and that thing actually becomes a part of your reality. Everything that has ever been and ever will be exists in waveform, exists in potentiality in the quantum field. Okay? And so when we focus on it and we think about it, that is the way we manifest it. That is the way we cause it to become a particle, and cause it to be less of a potential and more of something that shows up in our reality. And that is what's really happening in the world. Everything that we're experiencing, everything that we see, is a result of a collective agreement on observation. Things that we've observed and agreed on are our dimensional reality, or happen to be our visible reality. It's just a co-creation of the things that as humans we've agreed on and we've observed. And so if you want to begin to take your power and assert your power as a sovereign creator, and you are a creator, you must realize that you bear the responsibility and accountability for the things that you are creating in your life. So you are at this time creating, and I think this is a theme that I've covered before, but it certainly bears repeating. You are creating by what you focus on, what you observe, and what you mull over and what you dwell on. You are creating your life. So there is creation that's happening based on your own thoughts and your feelings about those thoughts, and there's a co-creation that happens based on the agreement that you have with those that you're integrating in your life. The agreement that we all have with everybody else that's a human, in terms of the fact that the sky looks blue, the clouds are white, the water is clear unless it's reflecting the sky, then it becomes blue or in different shades. We agree on everything we see because we have co-created it with each other by observing it. And so in addition to this baseline co-creation that we see, there are also specific and unique creations and structures and systems that you create for your life. And as we move into this new age, okay, this is a little heavy, but you're ready for it. As we move into this new age, it is going to be your responsibility to be more accountable for what you are creating, okay? And so now that you realize you are a creator and you have this newfound self-awareness about your power to create, you now need to engage in the practice of creating in a way that is a little bit more responsible, in a way that is more thoughtful. And so now, instead of just haphazardly reacting to life, reacting to stimuli, reacting to people, because now you know you are a creator, you want to do it consciously and not unconsciously and not recklessly, so that you look back and regret the things that you've created, regret the decisions that you've made, maybe out of omission. When I say omission, it's like it's a decision because you did it, and that's part of your life now. But when you are aware of your responsibility to create systems and structures that at least benefit yourself and hopefully others, you are going to realize the waywardness of your previous ways of living, the way that you allowed things to go on, the way that you set back and just allowed other people's creations to manifest in your life and become part of your life. Now you're going to be hopefully a little bit more responsible and realize that you have the responsibility to consciously create the structures and systems that are now going to grow in your life. Because a lot of the old structures and systems that you did not have a hand in necessarily creating, those are falling away. We are moving into a new age, so a lot of that stuff is falling away. And you want to let go of those things and allow them to go the way of all things so that you can begin to build your hopes and your trust and your ideals around the new creations, the new structures and systems that you are creating consciously. The goal for us here, while we're in this Earth School, is to become conscious creators, to understand and begin to practice daily the skill of creating consciously, so that the things that take place, the things that unfold in our lives, are things that we first had in our minds. It started off as a seed of a thought, and we consciously cultivated that thought, and we cultivated that seed so that it grew into something that we are aware that we were growing. That is what we're doing here on Earth, becoming conscious creators. And so my message today is for you to maybe do a little bit more research on quantum physics and the fact that the things that you observe and focus on are things that you are at least co-creating, if not creating altogether. And also understand that there's a level of wisdom that you are ascending into when you build your self-awareness of your conscious creating. When you are aware that you are aware, there is another level of living, another level of thriving that you step into that opens up new possibilities for you. It's like when you're playing a game, a video game, and you achieve a certain level on that game, it unlocks new features, it unlocks new skills. And life is the same way. As you become much more conscious and much more aware, you are unlocking new features, unlocking new ways of thinking that will allow you to achieve much more in your life and allow you to create things that are a benefit, not only to yourself, but to others in your life. So, the next thing that I want to talk about has to do with understanding that because you have to be more responsible for the things you're creating, it is even more important and crucial for you to dig deep inside and understand the unconscious patterns that you have inside that are causing you to create the things you're creating. Oftentimes, we may have the intention on creating something beautiful and lovely. We may have the intention to create something of benefit, but because we are still in an unhealed state, because we still have trauma and issues that we have not addressed, it limits and inhibits our ability to create beauty, our ability to create things that are beneficial, that are beauty, that will be something that can stand the test of time and be of benefit. So you want to go down, and we talked about shadow work. Do that shadow work that is necessary to release those negative energies, to release those patterns, to release those traumas. And as you release those, that energy now is free to be directed to something creative, to something beautiful. It's free to lighten you so that you rise up out of survival mode and you begin to live a life in a mode that is thriving, in a mode that is creative, where you are not focusing on competition, you're not focusing on envy, you're not focusing on trying to outdo someone, but you are only focusing on creating something beautiful, systems and structures that are going to be beneficial. And so, again, as you grow into that wisdom and the self-awareness of what you're creating and understanding that you are seeking to be a conscious creator, it is going to be more and more important for you to dig deep down inside and heal and release the trauma, the negativity, and the things that are going to inhibit you from creating things that are beautiful. Because otherwise, you will be creating things that are reminiscent of the trauma, that are derivative, that are generated from trauma and from negativity and from negative experiences. You will unconsciously create those things, even if you're not trying. Isn't it sad? But that is where we are. Even if you're not trying, you're going to be creating negative things, systems and structures that are based on trauma. And unless you dig deep down inside, consciously, into your subconscious, into your karma and the things that you are doing subconsciously, and begin to change those things and adjust the mindset, you are going to continue to create systems and structures that are going to be malefic. Okay? I hope I'm getting to someone about the responsibility to, number one, become conscious of your power to create. Become conscious of your sovereignty. You are a creator made in the image of the creator. You too are a creator. And we are here on earth, kind of like starting off with these training wheels, so that we can get better and better and more skilled at consciously creating a life for ourselves and for the world that is of benefit, that is wholesome, that is constructive and not destructive and not self-sabotaging. And you want to really get good at doing that in your own life, so that you can begin to see and witness your own creations and see the positive aspects and the benefits of these creations firsthand. And as you get better and better and better, the universe, your creator, our creator, will give you a little bit more. They will entrust you with more, entrust you with more of a role in society, with more of a role with the human collective, and helping others reach that level of self-sufficiency and sovereignty and wisdom and enlightenment. You will be given much more of a leadership role as a light worker, a leadership role as someone who is going to exemplify and model for others how to consciously create. That's what this is all about. That's what it's all about. So I think I covered everything I wanted to cover today. Just the fact that going back to nature is the direction that we are moving in. We are understanding the importance of technology, but technology cannot be the prime structure. It has to take a secondary role to nature and us working together, so that we are unifying, so that we are becoming enlightened, and we are raising our level of self-awareness and love and faith and healing and vision and light. And we, in order for us to continue to move in that direction, turning back to nature in a way where we're all doing it more and more, it is going to spread like wildfire. Just like this whole enlightenment movement has been going, the enlightenment movement is going to have a second wave of going back to nature, where we're going to begin to realize the importance of not relying on supermarkets for fruit and vegetables. We are going to need to begin to have, gardens, personal gardens, go back to where we are planting our own food, we have our own vegetables, our own fruits, because for some people technology is going to run rampant because of the profit motive. There is money to be made from changing the DNA of plants, changing the DNA of food. There's a profit motive there. As you know, it's very similar in the pharmaceutical industry. But in order for us to continue to do what is best for the earth and each other, we're going to have to go back to nature and understand that we are part of it. And as we take care of the earth, we're actually taking care of ourselves. Okay? This one was a little odd, but still very important. And so I recommend that you play this back and listen to it and jot down some notes. I'm going to do my best to put some notes here so that you can understand the sequence of some of the topics that I covered here. And as always, if you want some help and assistance, a little guidance with figuring out your own unique significance in the world and what your skills are, what your unique brilliance and genius happens to be when it comes to your contribution ultimately to the human collective, contact me here. It's backwards, right? But that means that you're going to have to figure out what is here. Basically, this is my email address, info@sos-consulting.org, and that is my website, sos-consulting.org. Okay. The other thing I want to show you is my book, if you would like to read it and get more of an understanding of how you can rid your life of some of the toxic elements. I identify about 13 toxic elements that you can remove from your life, which will allow you to be able to focus more on being a conscious creator. Feel free to do that. You can find this book on Amazon.com. You can find it at Balboa Press. You can basically just Google Detox Your Circle and you'll find me. Very, very important for us to realize that we are a product of nature, no less than the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. Take care. Have a beautiful Saturday. DM me if you'd like. You can also go to my Dream Coach account, where if you would like to set up some time, you can do that. The account is dream_coach. And there is a link there for you to set an appointment, and would love to interact with you and to chat with you. We can do a Zoom. I also do in person and also phone. So whatever interface works for you, let me know. But I'm signing off now. It was great seeing you all. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And for those of you who celebrate Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day to you all tomorrow. And you have a beautiful rest of the day. Take care.